Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Casey of OCDGaming. I'm here to make the ultimate augmentation evoker guide. I'm going to be going over the talents and what kind of stats you guys should be running. I think I've played this class long enough now to make this guide, so...
What do I have to do to make people f***ing listen to me?
Let's hop right into it. Also, I know right here I'm on Devastation, but I just wanted to gloat that I got rank 1 on Devastation, so... What's up, you know? Now I need to actually log over to my other evoker because I don't have the right gear on this guy, but we in there. All right, everybody, so now we're on the alt evoker, which is kind of my main at this point, honestly. I have all the right proper gear on this character. So what I want to go over first is the gear and the stats. I feel like I should cover all that first. And I'm gonna have timestamps in these videos so you know where the stats are in the gear, and then also the talents. I have a couple builds I want to go through and just kind of talk about. There's kind of a lot of things you can do with Augmentation Evoker, but with all the changes, nerfs, and everything that's been going on with it, it's kind of good to just cover all the bases in general. Alright, so for stats, what we want to be looking for, honestly, if you asked me when Augmentation Evoker first came out, I would have said Stack Mastery, because it increases your verse, other helpful auras too. It's like, why wouldn't you want to stack that? With the nerfs that came forward on Ebb and Might towards allies and all that kind of other stuff, what you kind of want to be shooting for is around 9-10% mastery, I'd say, and then just stack your haste. Just stack your haste. I don't run 4-set. I kind of want like replace one of these helmets too, honestly, so I can just get a little bit more haste. I probably will just replace the helmet if I'm looking at the gear right now, honestly. Maybe even the gloves. I could probably just replace the gloves too. And I kind of want to have a different offhand. I just don't have it. I have it on my main, but I don't have it on this character. Like, this is what I run with on the main. It's 437. Obviously, if you can get mythic, then that's gonna be just like goated with the sauce because it's more haste and you get a little bit of mastery with it as well. Honestly, I really like having 30% verse. If you're like 27 to 30% verse, I think you're good. Mastery, like I said, 9 to 10. Haste, just throw it all on there as much as you can. Then you just have your standard enchants, reserve intellect, the intellect and mana, speed on the cloak, haste verse gems, and if you want to just do full haste gems, you can also do that as well. So that covers all of the stats. So let's move on to the talent builds. Now, I've been running a couple different talent builds, but for the majority of the part, it's kind of looking like this. It all kind of depends on what comps you're fighting. So if you're fighting a melee, always have reactive hide. I think that's just really good. And with the way they changed Ebb and Might giving us more damage overall, and that pre-science has increased critical strike, I think that's just pretty nice to run overall because we can actually do some pretty insane damage. As you can see, I'm going to show you the rotation. So I pre-science Ebb and Might, and I'm going to do Breath of Aeons, Tip Fire Breath, Upheaval. I'm going to spam some Eruptions, Living Flame so I can get some Essence Burst, Eruption spam. Look at these Eruptions. I've seen them hit up to those numbers too, so that's the crazy part. And if you're running the Essence Burst on the pre-science, and you get that free Essence Burst there, it works so well because it's going to give you more damage plus the stacking intellect with momentum shift. It's just going to be insane. I know this is on one of the other training dummies, low verse, but if you have been watching my streams, so it's twitch.tv/OCDGaming, follow the stream so you guys know whenever I go live. That is where you guys can see I can do some big damn. Now, Eruption does do more damage split between targets, so if they're all grouped up, it's going to hit them. But if you're singling out a target, you actually do more damage to that one singular target. You know, these are doing like 95k, dude. 95k on some Eruptions without the extra intellect. That's kind of insane. The damage is definitely there because they gave us, what is it, 30% more damage to us now? So in PvP, it is 36% more damage for the augmentation. So guys, we can stack a lot of damage. And this, like I said, this talent build right here, this is kind of what I play normally. So this is the talent build I play with my mains 3s team. Again, running the pre-science. I've been digging it a whole lot. I still go with Tectonic Locus. It's good damage. Plus, the main reason we run with that, I want to say the majority of the people run with that, is just because it launches the primary target up higher. And yes, this can be nice. You can kind of, you know, debate a lot of people on kicking you. I've played with it. It's kind of nice. But I do very much so like using the Locust talent to knock them up higher, especially when fighting a Resto Druid and you're playing with your DK team, if that is what you're running. You hit them with the upheaval first, launches them up. By the time they come back down, they're probably going to be stunned from the DK's AoE stun. And then you can just tip Fire Breath with Scouring Flame and just take it off, you know, take off all the hots on them, and they should just die through that. I also kind of like doing Source of Magic too. It's kind of nice just having that on the healer, especially if it's usually a little bit longer game. But with how they changed how much healing and support Augmentation does and give it more to damage, the games don't go as long, at least in my opinion, what I've seen. The games can end usually pretty quickly with either your team dying or their team dying. So that's what I play with my main threes team. With Solo Shuffle, I really don't, like, as you can see here, I really don't play Source of Magic. The games are way too quick for that to even be kind of a factor. Also, if they don't have any melee, or if it's just like one melee that isn't really all auto attack heavy, I tend to go with Tomorrow Today over that. 'Cause I really just like having the extra Essence Burst into the momentum shift, like if I have the extra proc chance, and just kind of stacking that stuff to just do more damage with Eruption. And if I have Ebonite up, it's just going to increase the time my Ebon is just staying on there. With the high amount of haste, it's just going to work and alternate a lot faster, a lot better, especially when, you know, you have the Fury aspects after you use the breath. So again, let's go to rotation. Pre-Science, I got lucky and I got one of my Essence Burst. I'm going to Ebonite, and I'm going to go ahead and Breath of Eons, Upheaval, tip Fire Breath, and spam some Eruptions. Let's go ahead and launch those out. Hopefully, see, I was hoping to get a Essence Burst there, but with all the haste we got, right? With all the haste we got, so with the Fury aspects, it gives us 1.3 cast time. Without it, 1.6. That's still pretty good. A good rule of thumb, once you do your rotation, right? So once you do your breath, your upheaval, tip Fire Breath, all that kind of stuff, I genuinely wait for Breath of Eons to go away, right? So once Breath of Eons ticks finally goes away, I'd say, you know, go around a corner and just do your time skip real quick. Do your time skip out of range so you don't get stunned on it, so you don't get kicked on it, because you want that full value of that. So again, this is kind of what I play with Solo Shuffle. Solo Shuffle, this talent can also be played with any kind of mains threes team as well. Just kind of have alternate the talents and just figure out what you're fighting and figure out what fits best for all kind of scenarios, you know? So here is another build where you can play with the Seismic Slam. I can go this. I typically try not to run this because it takes up 2 talent points. You can run it if it's more your play style. That's perfectly fine. I'd say if you're going to run this into a lobby that can't get away out of your upheaval hit or anything like that. Or you say, like, I don't know, DK's AMS and what is it, Death's Advance, where they can't get knocked up or knocked away or anything. They'll ignore the knock-up effect, so just be wary of that. I'd say play this with something that isn't, like, if you don't have a stun in your team that's not reliable through all the goes and whatnot, then I say you can play with this. I think that's perfectly fine. It's not terrible. All you got to do is just upheaval, and when it knocks up, you landslide, it'll come slamming down, and then they'll be stunned. You can also stun them with the tail swipe as well if you have the landslide up. You can tail swipe and then landslide. Those are all kind of the talent builds I run with. When it comes to PvP talents, I typically don't run Shroud, honestly. There's some rare cases where I do. Even then, like, I'll eventually just swap it out anyway. Majority of the time, you're going to be playing Dream Projection. I live and die by Unburdened Flight, unless it's like double caster that doesn't really have any slows or anything like that. And for your third one, this is kind of like your interchangeable one. You can go with Scouring if they're playing with like PI or even like against a mage, honestly. If you're saving your Fire Breath and happen to line it up where they have their alter time, you'd be able to take that off, you know? That'd be a huge thing to get off. Huge thing to get off the power infusion, or if it's obviously Resto Druid, you should be playing into this. I've also found good success with Scouring Flame into Resto Shamans, even kind of Preservation Evokers as well. Divide and Conquer is pretty worthless as Augmentation because it's a 2-minute cooldown on your stun for your fly. So I don't really think that's really good. Swoop Up, there are some cases where I've played Swoop Up and it's actually worked, where if you're playing the setup comp with DK, you go ahead and build into Stretch Time and Spatial Paradox. So you would just swap out some talents like You go into this right here, grab that. Spatial Paradox will turn this into a 60-yard or 55-yard range, one of those two, and you'll be able to pull that target from, if they're hiding around a corner, just pull them right to your DK and just set them up for the blind right there. It's actually pretty great if they don't see it coming, and you can get some pretty crazy setups with it. Time stop, it can be good in some scenarios. I can't lie. Like if it's Rogue Mage and you see that Rogue does get the cheap onto your healer and he steps to you, you might be able to get time stop off and then shut down the damage like that. That can be good. Born in Flame, it's not terrible. You know, if you want to just run Born in Flame and get free to Living Flames, go for it, man. Obsidian Metal, still stupidly strong, especially if it's a target. So if it's like a DK, Demon Hunter, Warrior, Rogue, or Shaman or something like that, if they're sitting on you, you know you can't get away. You know you like Demon Hunters, you can't get away from them. Honestly, you might be just good switching out with your Unburdened with Obsidian Metal, because there's games where I've played that and just played with Dreamwalker's Embrace instead over the Unburdened Flight, because I know I'm not getting away from them no matter how hard I try. Don't want to get silenced or interrupted or anything like that. So it feels like that's like sometimes a better choice. Another good lock-in, not gonna lie, Dreamcatcher. If they don't have a way to get out of their sleeps, like if they don't have a priest to MD it, if they don't have a shaman to tremor it, if they don't have a priest Shadow Word Death, or you know, obviously if they have Shadow Word Death or Fade, then you got to try and juke both of those out. Or if they have Holy Priestess Spirit of Redemption. Now, there's a lot of ways to get around sleep, so having this not go on cooldown after using it, kind of nice, because then you can just follow up with another one at like half the duration, which isn't terrible sometimes, but if you're able to juke them out, obviously do that. Chrono Loop, fuck Chrono Loop, it's so sad now. We don't want to talk about that. Those are pretty much all the PvP talents that I use in scenarios. These ones for certain, majority of the time, yes. You can change this out to whatever you feel like, honestly. Like if you want to play with Dreamwalker's Embrace, go for it. I think it's great if you got a double melee on you. Use it on your target and just work with them. Make sure you communicate on the beam. And solo shuffle, that can kind of vary. Sometimes your teammates don't like that you do things the way you want to do them. It's pretty great. It's pretty great. It's so cool. I love it. So that is the majority of what I do in solo shuffle, 3v3s, 2v2s is Augmentation Evoker. So I hope this guide was actually like pretty helpful. If you guys have any questions, please let me know down below. Well, that's everything. If I missed anything, don't be afraid to yell at me down below in the comment section. That is where you can also click that subscribe button for more content like this. Also, once again, follow the live stream, twitch.tv/OCDGaming90. That's where you can find me live. Majority of the time playing Augmentation, Devastation, and just living it up in the dragon world. Share it around. If you guys know anybody that's a dragon trying to get better at the game, I am here to help, here to answer questions. I may not be the absolute best or the smartest dragon in the world, but god damn it, I'm rank 1 Evoker in solo shuffle for Devastation, which is D tier, according to everybody. Trash. Garbage. Trash, 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 trash. Thank you all for watching. Hopefully I catch you all in the next video. Take care, everybody.
Thank you so much for watching the video. If y'all enjoyed it, don't forget to like it, share it around, and subscribe to the channel. If y'all want to see more by me, check out the playlist and the most recent uploads. Once again, thank you all for watching. Hopefully I catch you all in the next video. Take care, everybody.